Hey Team A, this is Mrs. Butch. Today I'm here in this video to answer the question, what is a natural phenomenon? I hope that for many of you, this is a review because you probably know what this already is, especially from studying mythology and Greece and Rome, a little bit in social studies. So this video will be super short and will not take up a lot of your time. Let's talk about what a natural phenomenon is. This is something that is not man-made, that occurs on Earth just because it happens. Humans can't influence it, they can't change it, and these things, many times, sometimes there's no explanation for these things, but a lot of times there's a scientific explanation for them. Let me give you some examples. Moon phases. Humans cannot change the moon phases. Here we have them in front of us. But humans have no influence over these. This is a natural phenomenon because it just occurs naturally. Thunderstorms. Thunderstorms happen when they happen because of a scientific explanation, but we can't change that and we can't influence it. Sunrise and sunset happens naturally. We can't stop it, we can't change it, we can't make it something different. It's going to occur because of the way the Earth turns. Rainbows. Humans can recreate these in smaller scales, but humans cannot recreate a giant rainbow like the one you see in front of you. It just occurs naturally. Butterfly metamorphosis. The caterpillar knows exactly what to do. Humans don't influence it. We can't change it. We can't change a caterpillar into a butterfly in another way. It has to happen naturally. The northern lights are another natural phenomenon. They are amazing. We typically can't see them here in Ohio. You have to go much farther north, Canada, Alaska, even some northern parts of the United States. But they occur because of charged particles in one of the layers of the atmosphere. So it happens naturally. Humans did not cause it. All right, natural phenomena and myths. I wanted to point this out because this is the plural of phenomenon. So you don't just add an S to the end. You change the word a little bit. When you want to talk about more than one, you talk about natural phenomena. So the Greeks and the Romans, they didn't know the science to explain why these things were happening in their world. If you're an ancient person living in the world, and you don't understand that the earth is turning and that's why the moon changes its shape and size, you might think that's pretty freaky. So the way that the Greeks and the Romans handled this was to make up stories about why these things were happening, because it makes you feel better to have an explanation. Think about thunderstorms. Even people today are scared of thunderstorms. Think about how scary it is when you don't know what's happening. You don't understand. Oh, the storm is going to pass. It's not going to go on forever. This isn't really something to be afraid of. Greeks and Romans didn't have that scientific, logical thinking, so they made up a story. Oh, we have a thunderstorm today? Oh, Zeus must be angry. He's throwing lightning bolts. So a lot of these things, these myths that Greeks and Romans made up, helped them explain things that they couldn't understand and that they would otherwise have no explanation for. I think that is pretty much all I need to say on that topic. It doesn't really seem too hard to understand. I think you guys have probably got this. Let's talk about the assignment that goes along with this topic. This is the paper that you'll need to get in order to fulfill this part of your must-do list. Make sure you put your name and the period that we have you on this paper. For this paper, as you can see, you will have to read not only one, but 2 myths. Now, we are going to help you out with that because we have some required reading in class. You are absolutely also able to read something on your own outside of class, especially if you are like a Greek and Roman mythology person. If this is your jam and you want to do extra reading outside of class, you go for it. This paper is due May 21st. The reason it's due so far from now is because you don't need your Chromebook to do this. You can read something else, a piece of paper, and turn this in otherwise. You don't need technology to do this. Chromebooks are being collected on May 16th, so we wanted to make sure that we have assignments that don't need technology for after that time period. This paper is due May 21st. Since we are going to be done with school, there are no late assignments accepted. All right, so let's talk about how you fill out this paper. It's super easy. First step, you read a myth. You write the name or the title of the myth on that line. You then talk about what natural phenomenon this myth explains. These are not the correct answers, so do not copy these answers. But let's say that the myth Arachne explains why we have thunder. That's the natural phenomenon that myth explains. You will then write down the main character present in that myth. It is Arachne. It could also be, there's also a few gods and goddesses in this myth, so you might want to include them. Next, you'll include the main choices that the main character made. So in the myth Arachne, remember these are not correct answers, Arachne chooses to disobey the god Ares. As you can see, this is not a long and wordy assignment. And then finally, myths are absolutely always going to teach a lesson. So what does Arachne learn, or what should we learn by reading this myth? It's kind of like a theme. Arachne should learn that she should not intrude on the business of others. And that's the lesson that the Greeks and the Romans were trying to tell us. So you'll repeat this process for not only one myth like I have outlined for you, but also another of your choice. And down here I just decided that maybe you're going to read Pathon, and then you'll fill out the same 4 boxes based on that myth. Then you'll turn this into the top basket, you'll get all your points, and you'll be all set. This is an easy assignment, and you can read any myths that you would like, anything that you're interested, as long as you fill out these 4 or 5 things. Don't forget to put your name on it. See you guys later.